Finally got the bodies of the flags built. They're all hemmed and ready to go. We trimmed them to size, hemmed them, and then I made these reinforcing bits. Let me show you one. Let's see, I'll stand back. So I've got the, where is it? So I've got the flag built, and now I'm going to put, let me get the image up here on the screen of what we're doing here. This will take a moment. Here we go. Screen preview. So what I'm doing right now is, oh darn it. Okay. What I'm doing now is I'm putting in this reinforcing bit over here, and I'm going to run a messenger line, which is basically just this piece of string, into here. Because as soon as I get this reinforcing bit sewn on, I'm going to throw this in a bath of black dye, so that we're going to have black flags. And then once that's dry, I'll tie the rope that, you know, this attaches to the halyard so you can hoist the colors. But I don't want to dye this rope because it doesn't look dyed in here, and I don't think it needs to be dyed. So I'm going to run a hemp rope up here, and to do that, I'm going to put a string. Let me show you what I'm going to do. And I'm demonstrating this partly just for my own. It helps me to think through it before I actually do it. You know. So I've got this piece of reinforcement here, which is basically just, you know, it's the same material, but I'm going to wrap that around here like that, and then we'll have, you know, this edge over here, but I don't want to dye the rope, so I'm going to put a string inside this and let it hang out on both ends. Then I'm going to dye this whole thing when it's done, and then when it's dry, I can attach. I've got a hemp rope. I keep pointing at my monitor. So I've got this rope, so I'm going to tie the end of that string to it, and then I'll just pull it, you know, I'll pull it through, and then it'll be inside here, and then I'll get rid of the string. So that's got my work cut out for me. So I want to run the messenger lines into here, and I want to get these things stitched on, and this reinforces the edge of the flag so that it doesn't, you know, just tear apart the first time you try to fly it in a strong wind. And that's what we're up to today for a start. And then the other thing I want to do is, like after that, like while this stuff's dyeing, I'm not sure how long that'll take. So then I want to prepare the top of the rope. You know, I'm going to make a loop here and then splice this here. And I may put a bit of leather reinforcing. I think I have some thin leather. I may stitch some thin leather on here to protect it when this is flying. And then the big thing is, like while they're being dyed, I'm going to start getting ready to cut out the skull and bones, and that'll take a bit of effort and time because I've got to transfer. You know, I've got my computer monitor here. I've got the image in my monitor, and to get it out of my monitor, I've got about 8 different ways I can do it, and I haven't settled on what the best one is. I mean, I can freehand it, I can look at it, I might grid it, I don't know, I could print out, you know, I could grid this and then cut. Actually, that's something I hadn't thought of. I mean, I could print it in my grid squares and use that, assemble them as a template. So I have an overhead projector out in the workshop, and I could trace this image from my computer monitor onto a piece of clear plastic, and I could project it onto, say, craft paper, and then cut it out and put it on. So, but that's several hours away. So I'm going to just roll over all the different ideas, and something will occur to me. But meanwhile, we're going to run the messenger line and attach the reinforcing to each edge of these flags. So let's get rolling. First, I'm going to sit in here. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Let me bring up that image. Do I need this up? I don't think I do. Let's open this, turn this off. I'm trying to get better at not having feedback and having better quality audio and video, and a smoother presentation, so it's more enjoyable and useful for you who are watching this. So I appreciate you bearing with me. I'm new, but I'm learning. I hope to make this more fun to watch. All right, over here, let's go to videos. Right? Oh, this is the one. And I don't actually need this up, do I? I can just close that. Let's just do that. I'll watch on my phone, and then if somebody chats, we can interact. So for now, I'm just going to bring up the image and use that as my reference, but I don't really need it. I do want to look at the stitching a little bit more closely. Let's take a look. So there are little bitty stitches there along the edge. It looks like they probably, my guess is that they, and this is how I made these reinforcements. I just cut a 3-inch strip and then folded and ironed it, and then tucked these edges in on one side, and then I matched them on the other side. So I'm thinking I'm just going to stitch all the way through and go that way. But I'll get to that pretty soon. We're actually pretty close to starting this up. So preview. You got something to look at. And let's see here. Let me get my string. What did I do with my scissors? I don't know. I lost my scissors. I kind of need them. Oh, it is. All right. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to work this over the edge and making sure I keep this string in here. So I'm going to cut the string a little bit longer than the thing needs to be, just because I don't want it to accidentally pull out when I'm working. Okay, so we got a string and my reinforcement. I'm going to go ahead and plug my iron in so it can warm up. Well, the iron actually gets hot fast, so I don't really have to do that. It's just, then it's ready the moment I want it. Turn the light on. Okay. Probably do something about that right on the table. Okay. You know what? Let me double check to see. I don't know if you can actually see what I'm doing here. Why don't I enlarge this and maybe you'll have a better view. Let's see. Sorry, I can't move my camera. My computer is set here, and my webcam has a very short cord. So this is the best I can do. But I mean, I suppose I can move that more close to the window thing. I want to try that. Probably not. Not a lot better, but it's not enough, I guess. All right, so I've got my flag laid out. I've got my string. And let's go. So I'm just going to lay this in here. That. One thing I do need to do, I think, is these ends of this reinforcing piece. Get my iron. I'm going to just fold the ends over and inside, just so that they look neat when they're done. I guess I'll start here. So I've got about a 1/2 inch overlap. I'm just going to fold it in at the end. Just like that. So that goes right to the end, and then I'm just going to hit it with the iron, and that'll hold it still while I work on it. here, just fold it over and tuck it in. Okay. Now I want to run make sure my string's in there. Hope this works. All right, so there's my messenger line. And now I'm going to put that here into, make sure it's all tight in the pocket. All right, cool. It's already looking kind of neat. And just adjust that. All right, we're ready to go, I think. So we need to get a needle and thread ready. Don't really need this. We're in a hole in the daylight. Hey. What are you doing? Look, my string here. Come on. Come here. Okay, I don't want you messing around the iron, honey. So, I take the iron and make it play to your heart's content out like that. We got a needle threaded here, and we'll just start stitching. Oh, I've already got one ready. So my needle's ready. Where's that? Where's the end? Who sang that song, Tie Up Your Ends? What the heck is this? Something's weird here. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Why this is such a... Damn it. This stuff tangles. I really prefer my heavy linen twine for tent making than this little thin stuff. There we go, right? Okay, I think that was just an extra piece that had gotten tangled in with this stuff. But attaching the reinforcement, and I'm going to start stitching right now. You know, I'm going to pin this. I never use pins, but I'm going to use pins. So let me pin it first. Ancient invention that makes that possible. I like these pins. They've got a ball on the, you won't be able to see that, but, oh, sweetheart, you can't be underfoot. They've got a ball on the end, so it makes it easy to grab them. You've got old numb fingers. Well, they're not numb normally, they're just numb because I just made a tent now making pirate flags. And, you know, after a while you develop calluses, and these are easy to grab in that case. So I think that's sufficient, right? Yeah, that'll hold it. Don't tear out my fabric. Okay, so we're ready to go. Oh, this is gonna be cool. Get the scissors too. So here's what we're working with. So I've got the flag, and then I've got the reinforcing band on the end, and I've got it pinned in. So I've just got a few pins, 5 pins on there, just evenly distributed, and that just holds the thing on there. So here we go. And send a link to a friend of mine. He wants to drop in and chat. Not there. Let's see here. Bear with me just a moment, please. Okay, that's that. It's funny, the touch screen on here doesn't work after a while with my fingers calloused. Or maybe it's the phone. All right. And here we go. All right, let's make our pirate flags. Trying to get this caught up. I think there's a. There we go. My thing was a couple seconds behind. There we go. Finally, time to work. Glasses? Oh crap. All right. Can I see with these, or do I need my other glasses? Let's find out. So I'm just going to start here at one end. I like working away from me when I've got a thing like this to stitch. I'm going to tuck the end into the thing so it's kind of hidden in there and out of the way of abrasion and weather and stuff. So I'm just going to run it through. You can see that. Now I'll adjust the camera down a bit. That's a little better, right? Now I'm going to, for this first couple, I'm just going to stab through, and I'm going to try to get, well, aha. All right, so what I want is for both of these to kind of match up. This one seems to be a little higher, but what I'd like to do, ideally, is stitch both sides at the same time. So I'm just going to pinch this together. Where's my, I've got this string in the way, but, so this will save me a lot of trouble later, but right now I can tell it's going to be a pain in my neck until I get past it. I think I have to go get my contacts in because I can't see what I'm doing very well. So first couple stitches, draw carefully so you don't pull it all the way through, but yeah, I can feel it more than I can see it. I want to, darn it, I'm sorry to delay this, it'll just take a minute, but I got to put better eyes in because I can't see. So I'll be right back. Unless maybe, oh, you know what? Here, we'll just do it this way. Okay, this works. Get comfortable and get to it. So all I'm going to do is just go down the line, and I want to grab both sides of this as I work. Ideally, I mean, it matches up pretty well, and I did that deliberately when I put the reinforcing band together, and I folded it in half, and then I tried to match the width, you know, all the way down. It's not going to be exact, but it'll be pretty close. Let's go through. And we're going through a lot of fabric here, so it's kind of tough to, at least to get started. I hope it gets easier as I go along. All these stitches are going to be, in theory, at least, invisible when when this is done. I'm going to try a couple. I'm going to try this. Let's see. Can I hook around here and then stitch it this way? I'm going to do I'm going to do a few of them like this and see. What I'd like to do is just develop a method here on the first few, and if that works, then that's what I'll use. And what I'm trying to do is get it so it just evenly loops through both pieces
Yeah, that works on this so far. We'll see what happens. Let me do a few of them and we'll see if it's a consistent thing. I'm trying to dig in and then come back up and around through the top piece and then back down through the main fabric and then through the reinforcing band, and just looping, you know. Did that one catch? All right. Well, it seems to be working, so let's see. Let's see if we can do a few of these. And once I get rolling on it, then we'll really find out if this is going to work. I don't know yet. I think it is. I think this is going to be fine, just like this. I don't want real big stitches. I just, we're just trying to connect the fabric. We're not decorating it. Oh, you know what? My stitches are starting, just these first 4 already, they kind of look like the ones on the reference photo of the original flag. Sometimes that means that you're replicating the technique they used. Okay, now on this side, it's falling a little short. It is securing it to it, but I want that edge really bound down, so I'm going to try to go a little farther out on this. How about that? So what I'm thinking now is when you get a technique and then you start doing it and then it really starts matching up with the original that you're trying to copy, that tells me that, damn it. So what I'm running into is, so these are my stitches here. This is what I'm doing right now, and I can't see it myself because I've got to go put my contacts in. I'm sorry, I'll have to delay for a minute. But so I've got those, right? Now on the other side, I don't know if you can see this here, but they're falling short, like they're right at the edge. Like they're just inside the edge of this. You see there's that little bit of white space there. I want them to loop over, I think. Just because I don't want this loose here. So I gotta fix my technique a little bit better. I don't know how to do that yet, so I'm kind of figuring it out. Give me a minute here. I'm gonna go pop my contacts in and my reading glasses, and I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. I'll be right back. All right, this might work better, I think. Let's see. I can see. Okay. So let me, where's my needle? It's in here somewhere. There. Okay. So what I'm talking about is, like, I like these stitches. These are okay. This is the, let me get to the angle right. Okay, so this is exactly what I want. Now on the other side, this is what I want and what I expect, except they are just, and I'll apologize just one last time for the resolution of my camera, but this is the best I can do right now. These are, you can just barely see, they don't actually go over the edge of this reinforcing band. They kind of go right through the edge of it. And so there's just a thread or two of the white fabric there. And what I want is I think, for them to go all the way over. So I'm going to try to correct for that as I develop this stitch. And this is the first, just 1.5 inches of this, this project. And I've got
this flag, another one just like it, and then another one that has an even longer reinforcing band. So in the first few inches of this one, I'll work it out, figure out how to do it, and then for the whole rest of the project, then then they'll be right. So so we'll sort it out here in just a. It's just a little bit of trial and error, and we'll see what we're working with here. Let me untangle that. Yeah, I'm not crazy about this real thin thread. I mean, it's nice thread, but I don't like how it rolls up. It's distracting. It's a lot of extra pain in the neck here. Come on. Yeah, it's just tying. There we go. Yeah. Okay, that's good. So we're going in. Yeah, see right, oh, you know what it is, I think. I need to go in more of an angle and make sure I get around that other side band and then come back through. Let's try that. Let's try it on a couple of them, right? And I kind of can feel where the edge is. So I've got to go at more of an angle. I was going kind of straight down, and that's not going to get it. But if I go at an angle, I think I'm looping over the other one better. Let's try that. Let's see what that looks like. Yep, that did it. Okay, so, and it's a nicer looking stitch. So now I've corrected for that. So we're no longer holding back from the edge of this. It's actually going over the edge of it. And it's a little bit of a tighter, a smaller stitch, so it looks nicer. Again, none of this is ever going to be seen. This fabric's getting dyed black this afternoon, so this will all be invisible. It's just I want the construction to be right. So I can pull my pin and move on. But all right, so in the first 2 inches, we just figured out how to stitch it. So now I just got to repeat that 10,000 times. Nothing to it. And this is probably the technique that I'm going to use to attach the skulls and bones. They're going to be stitched in just the same way because they go on both sides of the flag, and they're basically mirrors. Each side is going to be a mirror of the other. So you can see on the original. In fact, let me bring that up just because it's kind of cool. And while I'm working out this technique. But yeah, that's much better. Okay, so that's what I want for that. Let me bring this up. Let's see here. We want to go to display capture. No, camera. Let me reduce the size of my camera. I'm sure I have a little tab here for scene transitions, so maybe I can make this more elegant looking in the future, but this is what we're working with. So here's the reinforcing band. And over here, you can see so we got the skull and bones, and they are really close to each other, but you can see here where, like all through here, you only see one set of stitches, but then down here, okay, it's a little bit different. So, this part of this one was stitched on that way, and then the other one you can see went out a little bit more, so there's another line. That's the stitching for the other side's femur. And the same up here, like you can see where it kind of goes, like this matches up perfectly, but over here it's just a little bit bigger. So so that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to use something, I think, similar to this technique as I stitch these on. And then we'll get that. This is such a cool looking skull. I mean, it's kind of weird looking and funky, but I love how they have even the cracks at the back of the orbits here, the eye sockets. That's where the optic nerve passes through, and they even went that. So I'm guessing these are guys who are familiar. They've got them. We have to capture a ship. I need a model for my flag. So bring me the head of a merchantman, so we can use it for reference. I don't know if that's exactly how it happened, but that's a skull. That's a real skull they used as a model for that thing. A lot of times, you see really stylized things, but
That's it's got some nice detail to it. It's cool. So, all right. So now it's just a matter of carrying on. We've got. Just want to go over that lower one, and come back through. And the whole idea is just to hold this on. It's not, um, you know, not anything more or less than that. We're just attaching these fabrics together, these pieces together. I can make my stitches a little bit smaller. They don't need to be that big. There we go. And there we are. So now I'm starting to get a feel for it. So I'm just pushing forward and trying to loop over the top of that other side, and then back through both reinforcing bands, both sides of the reinforcing band. This one I'm going to check often, but yeah, I like that. Okay, cool. Carry on. And roll across it. Out. So I noticed that earlier this morning I picked up another subscriber. It doesn't tell me who you are, but whoever you are, thank you. I'll do my best to make these videos worth coming back to. I'm trying to make each one better than the last one I did. And I think what I'm going to do with these live streams, I live streamed the construction of a Revolutionary War tent, and just finished that recently, and now I'm doing the same for this pirate flag. I think what I want to do is at the end of each of these, then have a distillation of it, you know, just a short video that just kind of picks out the highlights of it and shows, hey, here's how you do it, but you don't have to, you know, you don't need to watch the entire construction of it. I never do that when I'm trying to learn how to do something or I'm interested in something. I'm not going to watch days worth of videos just to learn how to do a thing. You know, give it to me in a, you know, just show me the main points. You know, once you've seen, you know, like stuff like this, like how to work out a problem, maybe, you know, maybe that kind of stuff. But then, you know, like once you get into this, you don't need to see 10 minutes or 3 hours of stitching like this. Okay, you know, show me a couple of inches and here's how you do it. But you get the idea after a short while. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through these and try to clip out sections and edit them into a shorter video. And maybe then I can even put in some illustrations of, you know, stuff that I'm thinking about, you know, old engravings or paintings and stuff that I see, original examples and stuff like that. Maybe make it more interesting, useful to watch. What do you think? Is that a good idea? On these, yeah, man, that's nice. Okay, weirdly, the backside actually looks really tight, like very even. So that's good. And I like the way this looks too, and this matches up. And the fact that this matches up, kind of like I think their stitches, and I'm not sure about the size of this original. So I mean, this might be. These stitches are a little bit better than mine. Like whoever sewed this is a better tailor than me, but I think I'm close in the way that these are. Without seeing the other side, I can't be sure because I don't know what the other side of these stitches looks like. Hey, Scout. Hey, honey. Not right now, sweetheart. No, that's not going to work. That's just not going to work. You're a good helper and you're real cute, but you got to go elsewhere. There you go. Go get your ball. Where's your ball? But if you want to just sit, you can curl up in the tent over there. I can't have you up here right now. There's a good girl. Again, just checking every once in a while just to make sure my stitches are doing what I want them to. That's cool, cool, cool. All right, I like it. So I was just thinking, so I'm hand stitching this, and you know, before about 1840, everything was stitched by hand. There wasn't, you know, sewing machine was invented around 1840 or so, and even then, I'm pretty sure it took a few years at least for it to be adopted widely. But you know, someone might say, well, why don't you just use a machine to do stuff? I mean, in a different context. And so I wondered, like, what's everybody in such a hurry for? Like, you get this done faster. Okay, for what? What else productive are you doing? Well, turns out a lot. You know, our standard of living today, I mean, for a huge proportion of the people, is better than for people at any other time in history. Even like kings and emperors and stuff never had the kinds of quality of, you know, just fresh water and clean, you know, clean, relatively clean food and water and all that stuff. You know, I mean, the Emperor Caesar maybe never had a hot shower, you know. I mean, we just take it for granted. I mean, maybe he did, but I don't know. The Romans are pretty amazing, the technologies that they had. Seems to be, you know, the biggest difference between us and them is that we have electricity. But beyond that, I mean, they were pretty sophisticated. And so it saves a lot of time, you know. Of course, if you're recreating something from a pre-sewing machine era, when you can use a machine to do interior stuff, things that'll never be seen. And I've done that, and I know a couple of, well, more than a couple of people who do that. You know, if you're making a coat or something, and you got certain seams that are never going to be seen, and whether it's handmade or machine made on the inside, you know, construction, it's not going to make a difference in the appearance or the way the thing wears or uses or anything. So there is no reason to do that in hand stitching. You know, in something like this, everything is on the surface. There's nothing hidden here, so it's not possible to do that. I mean, you could make obviously, people make modern pirate flags, American flags, and, you know, all around the world flags, right? But for something like this, the hand stitching gives it a handmade quality that you can't really get any other way than by making it by hand. So, the visibility of the stitches is one thing, but also, you know, there's subtle variations, and it kind of flows and moves a little bit better. You know, my stitching is kind of crude, but there are people who are very good at this sort of thing. Although these aren't terrible. I mean, it's doing the job, right? And it's doing the job. So, and it's going to look cool. These are going to be neat. I can't wait to fly this. And we're kind of landlocked here. I mean, I have a creek, but it's not enough to sail in. Do not tangle, please. Thank you. So far, so good. I think on the next one, I'm going to put. In fact, you know what? I'm going to put more pins in on the next one just to keep it from shifting, because it's locked in pretty well, but I can see that the translucency of the fabric lets me see that there's about an eighth of an inch space between the end of the main flag body and the reinforcing band. And that actually is okay because that's where the rope is going to sit. But I wanted to keep it consistent, so I may do that on the next one on purpose, but I don't want it coming out accidentally. So I'm gonna push these in, and I'm gonna repin this part just to keep that consistent. Yeah, we'll use more pins next time. But so far, we've got about a foot done in a pretty short period of time, and I think it looks pretty nice. More importantly, it's strong, right? I mean, it's good solid stitching, and now the edge of the flag is reinforced, and so when I pass that rope, I'm just going to tie when I splice my rope up, I'm going to tie it to the end of this and drag it through, and then, then you can fly the flag. But it's going to look cool. It's got a little bit of wave to it. If you look at the edge of this one, I mean, it kind of, it's pretty wavy. Kind of goes in and out here, and that's all right. So if I get some of that in here, I'll just take that as a bit more authenticity. Now, if I was really trying to make a reproduction, I would actually try to reproduce that. But instead of cutting, making sure these were straight and neat and stuff, I'd just do it in that way. Cut it wavy and make it look just like that. But sometimes what happens is if it started out straight and then over time the fabric stretched and was pushed and pulled in different directions, it'll do that kind of thing maybe. So then if you start out wavy, you're actually going to wind up once it's used with a different result. So I don't always want to do that. So sometimes I'll assume that it started out straight and it just got wavy over time, and hope that if I built mine the same way, it will get wavy over time too, in the same way. So as I'm going, my stitches are getting finer and better and a little more. I mean, they've all been pretty even. The first couple inches here are a little wobbly, but they're all starting to get just a little bit nicer. They're all pretty consistent overall, which I like. But
I'm really trying to get these fine little stitches that, again, I'm pointing my finger at the monitor. That doesn't do you any good. So, but you can see here even these, but they're not real long stitches. They're all kind of tight right up to the edge there. And that's what I'm trying to work toward, is getting more like that. So we've got some kind of long ones, but like these last ones, the last couple inches here did here, they're getting a little bit finer. Still not quite those, but they're getting there. Come on, man. Wrong way. Darn. Well, we might be at the end of this thread anyway. After a while, it gets really twisty. It starts tangling up more and more. Damn it. All right, well, that's the end of the line for that one. But we got a good start on this. It looks cool. We've got the technique figured out. And, all right, let's carry on to the next one. Give me some thread. Quite as much on here because it doesn't do to have it too long. I think the longer the thread, the more twisty it gets. Yeah, it's not far enough down to the end. There we go. Right. So I'm just going to take this, I'm going to pull this band apart and try to drag this thread back through just so it's in the inside, so it's buried in there when I connect these two. There, like that. Now I'll bring this one from the inside out and it will be an invisible join. Tuck these, I'll just tuck these ends in here and
carry on with the stitching. Nice. Okay. So let me put this up. I'm going to refill my coffee and step away from the computer for just a minute. So here we are. So far, here's what we have. And the back looks like that. So we've got it all hemmed. Got a nice reinforcing band on. I'm going to have the rope so you can hang it from the flagpole. It's going to be pretty cool. All right, so let me put this aside and I'll be back very shortly. Oh, you know what? Tom McDonald has said that he will allow anybody can use his videos. So, I'm doing that. Yep. Back to work now. Y'all don't want it with me. All the homies are shooters. Okay, let's go. So we are cooking now. So I want my reference image. View. Where are we? What is this? What am I looking for? View, full screen preview. There we go. Do I have sound on? I do. All right, we're ready to go. Let's go. View, full screen preview. All right, so got hot coffee. I got a flag. I got a needle and a thread. Let's go. You know what I don't have? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there we are. Okay. There's too much of a lag here. Why is that not set up? Did I set that up properly? I think I did. All right, well, I think that's okay. View, full screen preview. There we go. When last we left our intrepid pirate flag maker, he was stitching along the reinforcing band, and that's where we're going to pick up right now. Again, set it properly. Let's get to it. Change my angle a little bit. Nope, that's too far. let's see. So apparently, let me plug this in first of all. Apparently, Tom McDonald has a new song out with Ben Shapiro. So I'm not hopeful for the quality of it. But if YouTube is listening, Tom McDonald has given explicit permission on one of his videos for any video maker on YouTube to use his music with no copyright restrictions. So I have his direct permission to listen to his music on my stream. And that's what I'm going to do because I want to hear this song. I like Tom McDonald and Adam Calhoun and Mad Child and some of the other collaborators they worked with, and Nova, of course. Ben Shapiro, I doubt it. Now, Ben Shapiro is Jewish. The Beastie Boys are Jewish. I like their music, so maybe he's got some hidden talent I didn't know about. I'm skeptical, but we'll see. It's my confidence in Tom's musical genius that is sending me here. I will take a chance because I trust him. So we'll see what happens. Tom McDonald. I'm looking at YouTube right now. Now, the quality of this isn't going to be great, but I don't care. Where do we got? Videos. Facts. Tom McDonald featuring Ben Shapiro 4 hours ago. Let's try it. See what happens. Maybe it'll be good. So I want to wash my brain with, give me, let's see, Tom McDonald, Adam Calhoun, Nova, Rockefeller. Let's see what they put out a few months ago. I don't like this style. That
I've been wild since my teenagers, high speed chases,
I
smoking
like the
weed in
tone a little
parking
better.
lots of police stations. Couple CDs in my disc, and it was Parker Nirvana. Skateboard deck was painted with the topless pick of Madonna. The rule, I'm the same young buckaroo. Beat a dude for a mother dunkaroo. School, the president of the world too. This, them, that, you.
What I need is for some sea shanty artists to offer up their work for background and live streams, and listen to them. He's given permission to release it so I can listen to something. I need a beat. That's a little too high pitch for me. A little bit too high pitch. Oh, I think I have to go to. Actually, No Good Bastards is alright. That's Nova.
Coming in.
The all-new Pizza Hut $7 deal numbers menu. Because it's only a deal if you love it.
Okay, let's carry on. Really feel I like this song, but it's not doing it for me today. Let's see here. Well, I'm gonna let this charge up for a bit. I'll throw the headphones on. I can listen to sea shanties, and that'll be that. Okay. Pull the pin. All right, man. This is starting to look pretty cool, and we're down to the last quarter. Got it reinforced, and it's nice, good, even, decent. The stitches are a little bit bigger than I'd like them to be, but this is the best I can do, so this is what I'm doing. You know, look at some of those 18th century stuff, and it's just, you know, these people have been sewing forever, so they're able just to tiny little stitches. And they always seem a little bit clumsy to me. Maybe I just need to take more care with them, I guess. Maybe practice doing it that way will make me better at it. I'm trying to do that on this, so hopefully I improve as I go, you know. Yeah. I mean, I can occasionally do them, but it's hard to do it consistently. There we go. Now these are better, so maybe it's just, I just wasn't paying attention for the last couple of inches. There we go. Okay, so attach a new thread here in a minute. You know what I could do? Hey, that'd be cool. I wonder if I could run that.
Is my card powerful enough? Huh.
I might fire up Unreal and run my game in the background and just stand on the beach there and watch the wind and the waves. I'll have that sound as background for the video. And I can sew on the beach. I think I might do that. I'm going to try that. Not on this one. I want to get these done. I've got a lot of work to do on this today. But maybe I'll fool around with that in a little bit. I'll take a break and try to figure it out. So I've been developing a game for several years on the Unreal Engine. And it takes place in sometime in the late 18th century, somewhere in it's a mythical island that I made up in the Caribbean. And I've got the island built, and I've got wind and weather and waves and stuff. I might just use that as a background while I sew. Let me see about doing that in a little while. I mean, sometimes I do that normally. I'll just run it, especially in the dead of winter. It's nice to hear birds and see the sun, you know. It's one thing about streaming is, you know, I don't want to get my stream taken down for violating anyone's copyright. But I like having stuff to listen to and look at while I work. It's a little unnatural for me to just sit here quietly. Those of you who know me know that. I need more input to be happy. So It helps me concentrate somehow to have things going on. Here we go. Alright, so we've got a new thread attached. We're going to tuck this in underneath the reinforcing band and carry on. Let me get a few stitches in here and I'm going to have a pretty nice flag. So I think on the next two, I'm doing a total of 3 flags. On the next two, I'm going to use more pins as I hold them. Like this worked out okay, but I want to keep that tighter into the pocket. Like I've got, this actually might be the right way to do this though. I mean, I can see and feel the string that I have in there. And that rope's going to come down in here, so maybe it isn't a bad thing to have. There's not that much space. Yeah, it looks like there's maybe 1/8 of an inch of space. It's actually kind of hard. It's hard to tell because the I might be actually mistaken. This might actually go all the way into here. So, I don't know. I'm going to use more pins anyway, just in case. I just want to make sure it's, you know, roughly where it needs to be. And of course, looking at the original over there, you know, the one that's up on the screen now. They obviously didn't, and they didn't care that, you know, hey, it's a little bit wavy, you know. Heck with it, we need a pirate flag, get busy. So, you know, they'd have had, I'm pretty sure, Taylor's tools aboard when they made this. Assuming they made this on board a ship. I suppose this could have been made in some port somewhere. There's not a vendor of them, but you know, that's something. I should go through the general history of the pirates, and which, if you haven't read it, it's awesome. Check it out. I think there is at least one description of them being gentlemen of fortune, deciding to go pirating and then making a flag. You know, making their colors up and setting out for adventure. So, I think maybe I will see if I can find some of those passages and maybe I'll read them on stream. There's so much cool history involved in that stuff. All right. I think we'll do the long one next, and then the short one will be like dessert. Have an easy one at the end. What the hell is that? A little bit more spacing on that one, dude. It's a little weird there. That's okay. Okay. And here we go. Oh, 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 oh. Make sure that string is down there. I don't want to stitch out. Damn it. I don't want to stitch that into the edge, do I? You know what? This last one I'm gonna have to stab through because they've got all the. Oh, damn it! All right, so it's starting to twist up here. But I'm in literally like the last 4 stitches. Problem here is to get it through all that folded fabric. So they're like, you know, well, what do we have? We got 2, 4, 6 layers of fabric here at the edge. So it's just a little bit better to just stab through rather than try to loop it around and not stab my thumb. That's for the birds. Want to go over now and just finish it off just to hold that edge down. There we go. More. And I think what I'll do is I will, after I get it dyed and I put the rope in, then I'm probably going to stitch across. Oh, the camera can see this. I'm probably going to stitch across here just to solidify this, and I'll stitch down to the rope, and then I'm going to put a few stitches into the rope to hold it into the edge. It doesn't need to be sewed strongly in there, I think, but just enough to hold it in place so it doesn't. I don't want it. Well, maybe that won't even be necessary. I don't know. I'm going to play it by ear. I'll see what I think when I. It's going to feel different when I get it more complete. So I'll reserve judgment on that. All right. So now let's tie it off. Got a few loops around the top corner here just to hold that in place, and then I'm just going to tighten this up. A little fishhook knot. And there we go. So we got one done, man. This could fly right now. I mean, it's not a pirate flag. We've got a French flag. So, but I've got a string. I've got a reinforced. I've got a hem.
and it's rad. All right, so I'm gonna go get more coffee because I've got a reinforcing band. I've got my messenger line for the rope when I get to that point. This one's done. It's awesome. So next, on to the next one. So let's put this here. Oh, it's so cool. Like, now I'm starting to see it as a flag. It's kind of cool. So let's get on to the next. I want to do the long one now. Where's that one? I want to do the long one, and then we'll reserve the shorter one because I'm making two oriented like this and one oriented like this. I'm going to do this one because this is a longer edge to do, and then the short one will be like dessert. It'll be a little easy run, comparatively speaking. Okay, so I need to get this arranged up here and get my string and my what do you call it? I don't know if you can see that. No, let me adjust the camera. How about that? Is that better? You can see my ratty desk chair. I need pins. Ow. Sharp pins. And I need my reinforcing band. This is kind of cool. And I want my iron hot. Okay, so we'll get the iron in, get the heat up. I'll go ahead and arrange this, and then I can pin it down and get to it. We'll bang this one out, and then we'll get to the next one. Do I have a charge in this phone? I can start listening to some sea shanties or something. 72%. That works for me. I'm gonna have to use headphones because you know, I'm new to YouTubing as a live streams, and the guys I watch often get their streams taken down when they play copyrighted music, and I don't want that. But what I do want is some of the great music on here, so maybe I'll find something cool and I'll call it out and say, hey, check this out. This is what I'm listening to. Puts me in the mood, you know? Not in the Glenn Miller kind of way, but in the let's go a pirating way. Boring, let's go. Okay. We're going to start with this song by David Coffin that my friend sent to me that I really like. It's Roll the Old Chariot at Piscataqua Production on YouTube. And it's apparently a music festival, and they're out in the street singing, and it sounds awesome. So you want to listen along, check it out. Once I figure out how YouTube copyrights work, I'll maybe be able to have some music on the stream, and I'll provide that. But for now, this is how we're going to do it. I mean, come on, I'm hand sewing a pirate flag, hand sewing Revolutionary War tents. You don't expect me to be super high tech right off the bat, do you? My idea of high tech ends in about 1790. All right, yeah, it's the 2010 Portsmouth Maritime Folk Festival in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I do things most people annoying, but you're not. Hey, cool. Wow, thanks. To me, that comes across as let's figure this out. Yeah, this song is awesome. Yeah,
check this out. It's David Coffin on YouTube. It's Piscataqua, Piscataqua production. That's their channel name, and it's David Coffin, Roll the Old Chariot. It's freaking awesome. He's got a great crowd with him. They can all sing, and they're into it, and he's got a killer voice. All right, let's pin this up. We'd be all right. The wind was in our sails. We'd be all right. If the wind was in our sails, and we'll all hang on behind. Roll the old chariot along. Roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. All hang on behind. But we'd be alright if we make it around the horn. We'd be alright if we make it around the horn, and we'll all hang on behind. We'll roll the old, we'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind. Well, the night on the town wouldn't do us any harm. Night on the town wouldn't do us any harm. All hang on behind. We'll roll the old chariot along. The old, we'll roll the old. We'll all hang on behind. Wouldn't do us any harm. Okay. So I'm just pocketing this, the body of the flag into this band here. I'm leaving about an inch or so at the end. I'm going to snip this off here, and I'm going to tuck it underneath so that doesn't fray. We'll roll the old. We'll roll the old. Okay. I can pin it now. And we'll all hang on the. Okay. One draw. That's such a good song. I'm gonna listen to it again. I don't care. If it's good once, it's even better 1,000 times. Blood, sweat, and tears, right? Oh, damn it, I forgot my string. We'd be alright if we make it around the horn. We'd be alright if we make it around the horn. We'll all hang on behind. Okay, now put this in and pin it. Got to have this in here to drag that rope through once I've got this dyed. I think I do. I don't know if this is going to work. This is, I think, what's going to do it. I think we're going to listen to Bully in the Alley after this. The secret to making a pirate flag is strong rum in your coffee. Get it? Alright, there we go. So, the way I pin this usually is I'll go, well, the way I'm pinning this, and this is, there's a reason for it, but I'm doing the ends first, then the center. You know, so you hit the ends, subdivide it, and then I further subdivide those divisions. So roughly the center here. and so on until I get, like the last time I only put 5 in, and I don't think that was enough because it tended to creep a little bit. So I'm gonna put them a little, about 6, they're gonna wind up about 6 inches apart. That was good. I like that song. As much as the song, it's the enthusiasm with which it's sung by everybody involved. Let's put this up here. Okay, so we're pinned up. Let's get to it. Ouch. So here we go. And this is the side I want to sew from, right? This is going to be pretty rad. So the guy I'm making this one for wanted to alter the design a bit. That is, instead of the horizontal orientation, he wants it vertical and a larger skull and bones, which is going to be, I think, terrifying if you fly it from a sloop. So it's going to be really cool. And that's what we're doing on this one. And it's going to look, this is going to be cool. I'm making one for myself, and I'm trying to copy roughly the design and proportions of the original, but this one's going to look badass. I mean, they all are, right? I mean, it's the black flag of piracy. There's just something innately terrifying about it. If you look at old you know what? I'm going to drag up. Okay, I've had my reference up here. I know what I'm doing on this one. I've got a really cool image up here. And I don't think anybody's watching my stream right now, but I don't care. Somebody will watch it eventually. Maybe you'll see this. So, whoever you are, this is precisely and specifically for you. I knew that someday you would be here, and I'm glad you're here. So, I'm going to come up with something here. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know where it is. Black Butter Source, maybe. That's my game. So. What I found is this old engraving of privateer flags of the world, and it is really pretty cool. Might be in here, data? No. These are all my, well, what's that? So these are American privateer flags. They're all pretty cool. So that's the American Congress. This is from the United States. Again, American. Yeah, these are American privateer flags and pennants, and they're all pretty cool. But that's not the one I'm looking for. The one I'm looking for, aha, there it is. So what do we got here? We got these are continental, and that's European continental privateer flags. And I've got this other one up here. I'm going to bring them all up because they changed this program a few years ago, and they made it so that you can't just do this easily. Okay, so let's see here. Which is the better one? Let's see, image information. What's the size? There's 1440. Yeah, kind of small. Image information 15 through 6. Okay, so not much of a difference. I think these colors are brighter. I'm going to use this one. No, and it's the same image. It's just a different image. And then we have another version. Image information. This oh, you know what? This is higher res. Let's see. Are these the same, or are there similar ones in this? No, these are different. So, Vanier, all right, we're gonna leave that one off for now, but we'll put this one up just because it's cool. View, full screen preview, and there we go. So, but these are various privateer flags around in the four parts of the world, 4 corners of the world. So we'll have that. All right, and let me bring this monitor up. By monitor, I mean my other phone, so I can see what I'm doing. See if anybody shows up. wants to say hi. Nope. All right, I'm just gonna say hello. Hello. All right, so let's put this aside. And at some point, I'm actually gonna get to sewing. So I've got my band, my reinforcing band stitch on. I've got my string in here so I can drag the rope through when I'm done. First thing I want to do is fold this corner down. In fact, this is the whole reason I got the iron hot. I forgot to do that. I'm gonna fold this under and even with the top of this hem here. This is a loose edge and it'll fray. So I'm gonna take that, tuck it in. Then we're ready to sew. Because I've got it all pinned up and got my thread ready. So let's hit this real quick. I'm gonna have to pull this first. I'll pull this first one here. Let me do this one. I'm just making this up as I go along, by the way. I don't know what I'm doing. Fold it over. Put that in. Try to keep it roughly even. This one's for a good friend of mine, so I want to make it real nice. I want to make everything I do real nice, but this one especially. I'm just going to steam it just to hold that corner a little bit better. Put my string back where it belongs and then pin it again. And I'll do the same to the other side. I'll show you up close when I get there. So this is a long edge. This one's going to take longer than the other one, except it might not take much longer because some of the time taken in that one was figuring out what to do. Okay, pin. Okay, man. Oh, damn it. Gotta put that string back where it belongs. Okay. Now. I used to have this poster with quotes from Clausewitz, and one of them that stuck out to me was, in war, everything is very simple, but the simplest thing is difficult. That kind of applies to, I had that when I was a teenager. Everything, it seems to apply to everything I do. So, you know, everything is very simple, but it's all tough. So, all right, let's see here. I think we're ready to go. All right, we need a sea shanty. Here's something to listen to. Roll the Old Chariot metal version. No, I don't think so. It's probably great, but not into it right now. What do we want here? Well, we'll start with Bully in the Alley. Michael Hearn, he's good. Yarmouth Shandyman. Okay. I mean, there are so many versions of this. I like the ones done in bars. They're the best. You got a bunch of people loaded up on beer and ale. That's the best way to sing it. All right, where's my needle? I don't like that one.
some of them they put too much fanciness into it. I don't think the song should be sung fancy. The song should be sung by a bunch of people drinking beer and singing. And I forgot my scissors. All right, this is gonna take forever if I don't get my act together here. At some point we'll get it rolling. Okay. Now we're cooking, right? Damn, dude. When all is ready. Had all of my tangled. You gotta be kidding me, man. Just string everywhere. It's a disaster. All right. I think that's a little too long. I found yesterday or a couple days ago that if I use a shorter thread, it's kind of, I prefer to use a long thread, then I don't have to, constantly rethread the needle. But if I do it too long, then it tends to twist up and turn itself into knots, which ends up costing me as much time or more and makes it more frustrating. I like to just go, I don't have to pay attention to correcting stuff along the way. I would prefer to just make it, Okay, so I want my nice, by nice I mean my perpendicular stitches. They're all nice, but I want the perpendicular stitches on the side, what I'll call the finished side. So the hem is rolled this way. I'm just making this up again as I go along, but that's just how I'm choosing to do this one. So I'm going to turn this around because I like to work away from myself when I'm doing these kinds of things. There we go. All right, I think we're the next 3 hours or so. I might actually get a couple stitches in. Let's get to it. All right. There. So again, I'm going to start on the inside and push outward just so that tail is buried inside a little bit anyway. And then stab through. Again, you're going through 6 layers. So this first, 6 layers plus a finger. There we go. The first couple stitches, once you get it locked in, then you can just pull on it. It won't go anywhere. But until you get that, it's a lot of paying attention to stuff. Hey, hey, boy in the alley. Shit. Oh, help me, Bob, I'm boy in the alley. Here we go. All right, so I got my end tied in, and again, for the first quarter inch or so, because I've got that hem there, I got to stab through. But once I get past that, then it's just sewing. See, even this one, he's talking about going to whaling. So I think most of these are from. Well, I thought sea shanties were like age of piracy and 18th century stuff, but I was talking to a couple folk musicians I know who sing a lot of shanties, and they were telling me that they're primarily 19th century. I don't know if that, and I don't know a whole lot, much more about it, so in my imagination, sailors in the 18th, 17th, 16th centuries were singing work songs because people liked entertainment. And pirates would even capture musicians, right? They carried musicians on board ships, and so my guess is that they had something that they sang, but
Maybe they just weren't preserved, or maybe they evolved into the shanties of the 19th century. I don't know. Thinking of a particular friend of mine. I haven't seen him in several years, but he is a folk singer, and he may know more about it than me. I'm going to talk to him about that. Send him a note and see what he thinks. So I've got about 1.25 inches done here. Let's take a look. Okay, the back is, that'll work. The point is that it all holds. So the first few stitches sometimes are a little sloppy, and I think that looked a little bit sloppy. So there we go. And I've said it a couple of times, but I think once this is dyed black, no one's ever going to see these stitches. You will see the effect of them, right? I mean, that's part of the reason to do this by hand rather than by a machine. There's a handmade quality that you only get through handmade stuff. I mean, you can fake it with a machine and make it. It's not sloppy or wavy. I mean, good hand sewing is very well done and precise and stuff, but you can't fake it with a machine because it makes a different kind of stitch and it does different things to the fabric. And just by doing it by hand, you're going to introduce some human quality to it, which may be kind of why I'm so interested in the 18th century. Hello, goodbye. I think the late 18th century is the highest evolution of handmade stuff. You know, right at the end of the century, and of course in the early 19th, we're pushing toward the Industrial Revolution. But really, at the late 18th century, everything's made by hand mostly. I mean, there are machines and there are factories and things, but it's really, I think, the height of handmade stuff in civilization that we know of. All right, so we got a few inches in. As soon as I do this stitch, I'm going to turn it over and take a look, see what it looks like. Now that looks pretty nice, right? Nice and even. It's holding the edge. That's pretty consistent there. And most importantly, it's attached and solid. So we're on track. So now I just have to do more of that. That's why one of the reasons I started on the one I'm making for myself rather than this one. This I'm making for somebody else, and I always like to get a kind of a warm up, work out all the problems and figure out how to do stuff on a. I always call it the goat. It's like a scapegoat. It takes all the sins, and then I reserve the purity for later work. Been thinking about it that way for decades, and maybe I'll expand upon that sometime because it seems to work. And I'm pleased with the result on the other one, but this one I really wanted. There's a flow. Like once you know what you're doing, like no matter what you're doing, whether you're making stuff out of metal or wood or high tech stuff, even writing code or whatever. I mean, I do that too, a little bit. And, once you get the hang of a thing, and there's a flow to it. Kind of I don't know how to describe it. Maybe there's some kind of like it's sort of elegant, you know, it's the simplest expression of the thing is just comes out in the work. All right, we need some more sea shanties. Give me music. Yeah, either that or how about old Def Leppard? Let's start with that. Then we'll go to sea shanties, maybe. This one I can feel the bottom fold of the reinforcing thing is a little bit higher than this one, so I'm trying to get around it to lock it down. So sometimes you got to adjust, but part of the value of doing that is by doing that, now it's just pulled this part of it down already into place, so I don't have to mess with it too much. So you do it that first time or two, and then if you do it carefully along, it corrects itself. Makes it easier later on to do just kind of naturally good stuff. If I was running a pirate ship in the 18th century, I think I would want, this is playing another hit and run by Def Leppard at the moment, but put this, get some Metallica Creeping Death or something, as you roll up on the merchantman. Give us your calicos! I think they actually used Metallica when they laid siege, the American Army laid siege to the embassy, I don't remember what embassy it was in Panama. I think they were trying to capture Manuel Noriega, and I think I remember reading at the time that they were playing Metallica 24 hours a day or on loudspeakers out there. You know, I don't think that would work with me. So I play like, I don't know, Lawrence Welk or something, and I might give up sooner. But play Metallica, I'm rocking, you know. All right, so we got a good start here, and these are getting better. Okay, so see, it was worth doing. I'm glad I did the other flag first, because now this is like all. Let me check that out. And this is for my friend, the what do you call it? The poor carpenter, poor quality carpenter. I think he said something like that. I'll have to look that up, or I'll ask him soon. Anyway, you know who you are. This is yours. It's looking rad, dude. Oh, it's so good. About time to thread up a new needle, or a new needle full of thread. But these stitches are going really, really consistent. That's what I want, is I mean, they're not perfect. There are a few that stand out. I don't want them to stand out. What I'm after is stuff like this and this. Even in here, like, but I've got a couple of weird ones, like, you know, every so often. But generally, I'm just after just consistency, you know. And a practical reason for doing that is that gives it structural consistency. You know, I mean, the actual point of this is, I want this to distribute all the forces that are applied to it evenly out in the world, you know, wind and water and stuff like that. And you know, if you've got a grid of fibers that make up the fabric, and then you have, you know, attachment points, you want them to distribute all that force all the way around. All right, so listen, stop. I don't need to buy a new GMC. What I do need is to rock. Thank you. On deck now we have Let It Go by Def Leppard. I think 1979. Sometime around there. Maybe early 80s, I'm not sure. So if you want to listen along at home, 18th century rock sing-along air guitar on a sloop of war. And yo, bitch, I am. All right, dude. There we go. All right, give me a little bit of wax. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. I like that chord change. More cowbell. All right, so we got it. The new thread attached, and lost my needle. Where the hell's my needle? My needle is very conveniently right there in front of me. I once walked around for 10 minutes looking for my glasses. I was wearing them, so, you know. You just have to, it's just how it goes. Too fast, too strong. Oh. Right. Dear YouTube, when I type "let it go," I don't want Frozen. Alright, makes sense. Alright, give me some. Okay, I keep wanting to go to sea shanties, but then I see, hey, AC/DC, if you want blood, of course. Why not? And, you can't argue with the results. I mean, consistent stitches. So, rock is the modern work song. Anytime you ever spend on a construction site, and I've started working on construction sites when I was about 13. Every time I've been out there, there's rock music playing. And it was just at some point. It wasn't until I heard Van Halen's Pound Cake, Van Hagar's Pound Cake, that I really figured out why it worked. Because it all sounds like power tools and hammers, and it sounds like the instruments that guys in construction are comfortable with and familiar with. And there's a music to the work site anyway. And so I guess it stands to reason the sea shanty is the music of a whaler, and rock is the music of a modern construction site. There ought to be a law. And, I mean, what could be more appropriate for selling a pirate flag than AC/DC? If you want blood, you got it. Hoist the colors. I think I'm going to make when we were talking about doing this project, let me pause this for a second, pipe down. When we were talking about doing this project, I said, I've always wanted to make a pirate flag. My friend said, yeah, I want one. And I said, all right, let's do it. So I started looking at references and stuff, and I found two. There are two that I know of. I mean, people claim another one, but it's in St. Augustine in a museum, and it looks badass. It's really cool. But supposedly it's 1850, which is beyond my area, my time period of interest. But I mean, it's a killer looking flag. And I might actually want to do that one too, just for fun someday. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. Oh, the other pirate flag. They had a quarter, and you go back and read the general history of the pirates and other accounts of the day. They would fly a red flag indicating no quarter, which no quarter means mercy. So if you can surrender, or we're going to put up the red flag. The red flag is, I guess, blood. It means we don't expect mercy from you, and we're not going to give any mercy. Everybody dies. We're going to fight to the death. Most of the time, pirates didn't actually want to fight. They want to take the ship intact so they can steal the cargo in the ship and whatever else they want out of it. This pirate flag is a red flag. It's red wool. And a lot of flags in the period were made in wool. It's about 2 feet square and has a skull and crossbones. I always imagined that the no quarter flag was just a red pennant or a red square, rectangle, I guess. This one is even cooler because it's got the skull and bones on it. I'll pull it up here in a bit. Actually, hell, I'll put it up right now. It's pretty awesome, and I have some red wool, and I may make one of these just because it's pretty cool. Let me see, where is it? We're at desktop. I want pirate flag, and there it is. And it is like all I can find are these really crappy. This is kind of why I went with the one we're doing here, because it's got these really nice high-res images. And this one, I couldn't find anything. It's the National Maritime, or no, it's the National Museum of the Royal Navy, and I couldn't find anything on their website. Like, and I'm competent at searching museum websites, but I couldn't find any images of it. Where's my image? I couldn't find any good high quality images of it. Everything is out of focus and low res and kind of crappy. And they were all from newspaper articles or online news articles about the restoration of it. Well, okay, you've restored it, or conserved it. Show me the image, man. View, full screen preview. Let's do that. Let's zoom in. I mean, that's pretty badass, right? So, that I think is, that's the colors and it's signifying no quarter. I think that was generally understood. You fly the red flag, we're not going to ask you for mercy and we're not going to give any. But of course, the black flag is, traditional also. And the Jolly Roger, which I always hear associated with the black flag with the skull and bones. At least one theory, and I've always thought that this makes sense, is that this is the Joli Rouge. So in French, that's the pretty red. So here, fly that pretty red flag, right? We're going for blood. The Joli Rouge, or the Jolly, and then an English speaker maybe mishears it as Jolly Roger. I don't know that that's where that came from, but that's how I think of it. That's my work. That's what I think. It just seems to make the most sense. It's a pretty red flag. That means we're going to battle. We're going to have calicos and sugar and rum and maybe a good sloop at the end of this fight. All right, back to rock and roll. Oh, you can't see because I turned my thing up, so you just watch me bang my head. Sorry. I'm trying to actually show some of the stitching. I've been here for however long, not showing it. But that's all right. It's a little bit better. Making progress. Not that far over. Dun, dun. Yeah, we have a knot developing. We're going to nip that in the bud. So maybe we need a remake of Captain Blood with Errol Flynn, but recut with a soundtrack, a modern soundtrack, kind of like they did the Young Guns with the cowboy movie, or the western. But AC/DC, If You Want Blood, seems perfect. All right, I think I do need to go to. I'm gonna look for some Johnny Collins. Let's see what we got on here. I actually have the CD for, but my player's out in the shop, and I don't know if I'm going to go out there. Stop, I'm not buying your stupid watch. No, okay, and I don't like your music. Shut up. Hey, what the fuck is this garbage? It's not even fake music. Buzz off. You would think they could at least approximate music. You know what? I think I should go for the album. Maybe I can find a listing so I don't have to keep pressing play. The album I have is Johnny Collins' Shanties and Songs of the Sea. And that's what I'm looking up here, just on YouTube, because I don't feel like going out there and getting it. But it's a good one. There's another good collection from I think Smithsonian Folkways. I don't remember the name of it, but I could look it up. It's got a bluish cover, and it's got I think a schooner on the cover, the album cover. Songs of the Sea. Well, yeah, this is an hour long, so 54 minutes, so this may have them all just in order. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, somehow this puts me more in the mood for selling this. I love rock, but the songs of the sea are kind of made for the sea. You know? So speaking of Barbary pirates, which is what these flags, both of these were captured off the Barbary coast, North Africa, in the late 18th century. That one, the red one, the Joli Rouge, I think in 1780, and I don't know the date of the one that I'm making the copy of. Thomas Jefferson sent a force over to quell them because they were capturing American merchantmen and raiding our commerce. And New York today just took down a 187-year-old statue of Thomas Jefferson. So I'm just going to say it now. They deserve whatever is coming to them. And they'll get no help from me. The people of New York seem to not deserve the protection of the spirit of Thomas Jefferson. They seem to be hell-bent on their own destruction. You're going to pull the statue down, you will be infested by pirates, and there will be no aid from this quarter. Destroy the symbols, you will live with the consequence of that. There's something about historical statues and monuments that confers protection on a people. And when they deface or remove them, they can no longer enjoy the protection afforded by them. So there is a spiritual price coming. And that's going to be unavoidable for them, and they'll deserve whatever it is. It's all right till I try. And it was oh boys home. That's a good song. The captain allows and let's get up the draw. When the wind is blowing, ships are gently rolling. My Emma, won't you be true to me? That's gonna be cool. All right, we are. Hey, I think we're making some headway here. Look at that. That's gonna be all right, right? Heave away the capstan, lads, and let's get up the draw. When the winds are blowing, the ships are gently. My Emma, won't you be true to me? Almost time for new thread. Okay, new thread. Won't you be true to me? Come on, there we go. Speed it up. Okay. A little bit of beeswax. Won't you be true to me? All right. Just run this through. We'll tie it off, and we can carry on. Oh, that's a little too long. All right. Oh, you still can't see what I'm doing here. I've got to work on my camera angles and stuff, haven't I? There we go. Bury it inside and carry on. I don't need a new Toyota, I need sea shanties. Oh, dude, that's a nice stitch there. Look at that. That's exactly what I want. Every once in a while, you get a run where they're just dead on, and that's it right there. They're short, perpendicular, nice. That's exactly what I want. I don't even know what you're advertising. Like, you play this stupid fake music. It's not even music, and there's no indication of what you're doing. All you're doing is interrupting what I wanted to listen to. I don't understand why advertisers spending all this effort and resources to make ads don't understand how this stuff is used. I'm sitting there staring at it. Well, boy, I can't wait to see what they do in this commercial next. Dude, you got like 3 seconds to get my attention and inform me about what you're doing here. There we go. We're approaching another pin. Heave away, haul. Okay, pull the pin. Yeah, man, that is not gonna tangle, is it? No, cool. All right, that's nice, dude. We are, let's see. Well, we've passed the halfway point. Ta-da! So I'm gonna rest my hand for a couple minutes. I'm gonna stretch my legs, and I'll be back very shortly.
Whew. Let me put the, oh, did I get rid of the privateer one? Oh, heck, we'll leave this one up then. It's cool.